Recording in progress.
Let us draw our comments in as we get ready to start our meeting. Calling the Charter Review Commission meeting for Thursday, September 18, 2024. I now call the meeting to order. May we have the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will have a silent meditation, a moment of silent prayer or prayer. If the wishes are such that we have prayer, then I would like to call Pastor Elliot Liverman. Would you please come and push the green button and give us a prayer?
All right, amen. Let's bow our heads. God of heaven and earth, we thank you now for this time that we may come together, God, to discuss, to entertain, to come to a resolution over matters. We ask you now, God, to be in everyone's heart, move any distraction, hesitant.
Amen. Thank you very much. May I have a roll call, please? Go ahead.
Belinda, Ms. Sheehan, Mr. Myers, Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. Quinones, I don't see her. Ms. Bradford, Ms. Rodriguez, Ms. Perez is here. And we're missing Mr. Grubb, Mr. Rivera, and Mr. Mejia.
Mr. Rivera said he was gonna attend via Zoom. I don't know if he got the link, but he did tell me that he was attending via Zoom. Let me see if I can use him.
So we do have 7, so we have a quorum.
And now that roll call has been established and quorum has been established, I would like us to go to public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would be willing and able to do any public comments? Yeah. Could you? Yes, you can, right here. If you could. Yeah, be. Yes, where is it? Would you please sign the login when you're ready? And then also make sure that you have the button pressed. It's a green button. If you can help her, that would be helpful. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, you are. Please sign in when you are willing and able to do public comment before the meeting begins. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name is Lydia Track. And I must say that I really don't know what the charter consists of, but I'm here to, I guess, find out and get some information. I don't know if this is the proper arena or the proper time, but I would like to take this opportunity to give you a little synopsis about myself, my concerns, what I do here in Reading, Pennsylvania. So I'm just going to start with, I did a geographical change from Philadelphia to Reading, PA in 1996, July the 1st to be exact. I've been living here, I'm just going to claim the 30 years because I'm real close. Did a geographical change due to some major adjustments that I needed to make in my life and my children's life. And it has paid off. I love Reading. I came here and did a complete 360, got my life together. Well, I didn't get my life together. God blessed me and turned my life around. Did a complete 360 in my life, and my life has not been the same since. Everyone comes from someplace. I do have a background. I, visited different places, lived different places, entertained different thoughts. And as a direct result of doing things my way, I ended up incarcerated at Muncie State Correctional Institution. I don't think I'm giving too much information. My life is an open book. And as a direct result of that, I'm deemed legally blind. I've been deemed legally blind since 2013. I go to work every day. I go to church, I praise God. I belong to New Hope Baptist Church, 621 Church Street. I've been there. I'm just gonna round it up to 20 years. And the reason I'm here today is I'm inquisitive about what actually goes on here, but I figured it'd be a great opportunity to talk about what it is that I do. I am the liaison for the Pennsylvania Prison Society out of Philadelphia. I cater to men and women who are incarcerated to help to get them home, those that have been sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, but mainly starting from anyone that's incarcerated that God sends my way or sends me their way. And I'm trying to get my nonprofit out there. It's called Trapped with a Way Out, We've been in existence for 4 years now, and I'm just trying to take the next steps to prepare those men and women who are from Reading, Pennsylvania, who have to go to other counties to participate in getting their life together, where we have many, many resources here in Reading, but they can't participate in them because they're in other counties.
Okay.
So I'm trying to, with the help of wherever I can get the help from, obtaining a halfway house for women. Not to discriminate, but for women. That's the goal. That's
Thank
the arena I'm trying to reach. So I'm here to find out how I can get some help with that and how I can be of assistance or help in any kind of way dealing with the charter or just bettering Reading, Pennsylvania.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks.
very much. I appreciate it.
Lydia Trapp. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to have public comment? Okay. Okay, then we'll bring that to a close. And we will have one afterwards, so if you have something that you wanted to say afterwards, that's well. Okay? Now, as the chair of the Charter Review Commission, I have just a few comments, and maybe it's housekeeping, if you will. As chair, and I have two co-chairs, a treasury, but we do not have a secretary. We're so happy that Ms. Edmond has allowed herself to be the liaison from administration. I thank you so much for that. It tells us that the city is very compassionate. So we are looking for a secretary. Now, that's one thing, but we also want to make sure that we have a recording secretary who is bilingual and that if we are able to work our minutes into Spanish as well as any other language, but we're concentrating on Spanish at this point. But we're open to everything else. But the thing I wanted to say is protocol. As we have begun, we were able to list our agenda items for the next agenda. So that's really important that we're able to have everyone's contribution for the agenda. So as part of protocol, I would like all of you to send anything to me so that I will be able to review it. And then also if we need to have our solicitor come together for that legal advice. And everyone in this area is able to contribute into our process. So I know that there's some things that had taken place that did not go to protocol. And it's really important that we understand that when we have anything, documents or items or letters, anything that you want, just give that to me first, and then I will make sure that we put that in the rightful place. Does that make sense? Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Was there anything else? I believe that's it for at this point. I did invite Raquel to come again if there was any other questions of her or any confusion or any other comments that needed to be made. Because I think we just allowed her to present, and then, of course, we didn't really have much to say. So if you choose, we can look at that in our meeting, okay? Now, let us approve the minutes. Did everyone get a chance to approve the minutes? I mean, did we read the minutes? Everyone, Attorney Stock got them out to you, and you did have a chance to read them. Is there anyone else that needed to read them at this point? Well, it's good. Okay, so I would like to have was there anything in the minutes that needed to be corrected or? Yes. Oh, okay. Okay. We had one that was the young lady. Her name was Amanda Mogro that came and spoke the last time.
Yeah, I didn't catch her last name when I circulated the original, but you passed her name on to us, so. The minutes that have been circulated have her last name.
Oh, thank you so much. I didn't check to
Yeah,
make
it's
sure.
Page 4, item 14. Mogro, M-O-G-R-O.
There it is. Thank you so much for that correction. Okay, now if there's any other discussion, I would then entertain a motion.
As they are presented.
Very good. Is there a second? Thank you so much. All in favor? Aye, ayes have it. Are there any negatives? None. Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay. Yes,
Told I'm gonna be given 10 minutes to speak on the 2013-2014 commission.
okay, okay. We did, yeah, last meeting, you were asking for that. Okay, so does anyone have any objection to that? Can you speak louder, please? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, now you're here, okay.
Yes, I was told that I was gonna be given 10 minutes to present my case for the 2013-2014 Home Rule Charter Review Commission.
Okay, now what I would say is this, Ms. Perez, that we're going to be looking at the overview of the Charter Commission, and we're going to, when that comes up, when we talk about the charter review, then if you would bring that to our attention at that time, because we did say that, okay? And I don't see that on the agenda. Okay, all right. Now, there's one thing on the agenda that really shouldn't be on the agenda. I believe it was an overview of the Charter Review Commission and purpose. But that's you, right?
No, mine is item 12, finish review of current charter.
Okay, because then what I say is this will be given to this agenda for the next meeting so that we would be able to put that on the agenda for next meeting.
Presidents, I mean, the overview of Charter Review Commission purpose and scope that's been on prior agendas and includes what Ms. Perez wanted to talk about tonight. And then I also put under there what Ms. Melendez had submitted for consideration.
Yes, now, Ed, I just have to tell you that when we talked about being able to recognize your leadership, that's about what we need to do. And so when we have anything, as someone else did, they contacted and then was able to put that on the agenda. That's how we're going to do that. So I would like that we would make sure that the things that are on the agenda, because we talked about things that are on the agenda that the public has to have notice of as well. We did not have any notice on the overview and the commission and purpose. So that's the only thing that I think. Sure.
We absolutely had the scope and charter review purpose for the last 2 meetings in the agendas. We just
Mhm.
never got around to them.
Yes,
Now, if you would like to move the document to the next meeting, that's fine.
thank you.
But we had the overview of the charter commission and its purpose and scope
Sure.
since our first meeting.
And
We
who-
just keep been pushing it.
No, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, it's been pushed over and over and over again.
Okay,
So which is why it's on this agenda, because
Mhm.
we really need to get to the prior items that we never got to.
okay.
And what he said is perfectly reasonable. We can move the strategic plan to next week. It's not a problem. It'll give people more time to read it.
That would be good. That's what
I
I'm
just,
saying.
but we need to go over the commission's purpose and scope because in my opinion, all of the confusion that happened last week was because I don't think that everybody understood the scope and purpose of this group,
Mhm.
which is, I think we should absolutely go over it.
Thank you very much, Tanya. I appreciate that. But when we look at the scope and the purpose, that was for Ed to review the charter in its fullness so that once we had the scope and purpose, then we would be able to lay that out. What I saw that Ed sent me, this is all well and good, okay? But I think we have to review, and we're almost finished with the review as of, should be
There
today.
are two different things. To go over a commission's purpose and scope
Mhm.
informs everybody of the direction and the
Mhm.
power or the reach of that group
Agree.
versus the discussion or the review of the actual document, which is item 11, I believe. No, 12,
Mhm.
is actually physically reviewing the existing charter, which has nothing to do with the power of this commission. They're two
Mhm.
separate items.
See, okay, I think we need to continue that discussion. And because when we're looking at the public, it's not just about us. It's about the public participating and being able to have an understanding. And at this point, because we did not have any sound last week, it was very confusing. There was a blackout, if you will. So part of that confusion was about the media, okay? But I hear what you're saying, and I set the agenda so that I would like for us to do what was, as Ed had reviewed it. That's all I'm saying is let's review it and then move forward with the purpose and the scope. Okay? And then, yes, we will be able to consider the strategic plan that you have presented at the next meeting, if that's okay, Tanya. And then we'll get together on that too, so that you could just kind of give me an understanding of where you're at, okay?
I would just
So
like,
that's good, I'm glad. See, everybody has a contribution. I'm not in any way, believe me, I'm not in any way. We have a team that's a good team already, okay? And I still think you should have been the secretary because you're doing, But that's okay. We're going to get a secretary. Okay. So if you don't mind that we put that on the agenda for the first thing, okay? Okay, good enough. Thank you so much. Okay. Yes.
I just have a question, right? I was wondering why our minutes is not given to us on a paper, physical paper.
Okay, there's a question in the answer, and this is the minutes.
Thank you.
Okay? And Ed did provide. Anybody else? So make sure that when we're in the meeting, you have everything you need, because the minutes are going to be here. And it would be good if you can print them out. But do you, right here. No, that's the minutes. What did you want, Sheila? I think I passed them out already. Okay, let us move forward. Okay, all right. Yeah, who would like an agenda for this meeting? No, she would make copies. Okay, all right. Adele, did you give it to her, Sheila? Thank you. Okay, so she's satisfied with that. Okay, very good. Thank you.
I would like to just say one thing about the agenda. As I have said at prior meetings, because of the nature of the public meetings law that we're subject to, if something's not on an agenda, you can't take any action. So for example, you'll notice use some discretion, but item 11 on the agenda is an election of secretary. Now that was on last week's agenda and there was nobody agreed to serve. So I just carried that over in case somebody had a change of heart. But if we didn't have it on the agenda, we wouldn't be able to take action. And frankly, some of these, you're probably going to continue, if I keep doing the agendas, you're probably going to see several of these items stay on the agenda almost as a permanent, this, commission purpose and scope is something that you'll probably talk about in one way or the other at every meeting. So there'll be some carryover. It doesn't mean you have to spend any time on it. You can pass it over if there's other things to do, but there's some artistry in putting this agenda together so that we don't want to take action and find ourselves not being able to because it's not on the agenda.
And to add to your comment, if we continue that people are always absent, even though we have a quorum, we're still not making sure that those persons on the commission is up to date. I mean, we send the information to them, correct? So.
Every member of the commission should have received the agenda in draft form because I did it first thing on Friday.
Right.
And I think it was circulated Friday. The only feedback I got was from Ms. Melendez to add something, which from now on will run through the chair.
Thank you.
And then the final version was circulated on, I think, Monday or Tuesday, along with, I think we circulated draft minutes, and then we did get the one correction to add Ms. Magro's last name, which I didn't catch last week. So everybody is getting the material by email. It's going to be a little difficult to get paper copies out to people in advance because these meetings happen very rapidly, week by week. So
That's pretty cool.
my plan would be to continue to do them by email going forward.
And then just print them.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
But I will also try to remember to bring extra copies to each meeting, which I did tonight. Yeah.
Correct. Thank you. Okay.
It's a strange world we live in. Some people like paper, Some people like only electronic, so it's hard to find what, a right balance, but we'll bring copies to the meetings.
Eh,
To that
Go ahead.
the public libraries all have the capability of printing out email. So if you need to print something out.
Thank you, Ann. Mhm. Okay. Now, this is what, okay, I'm not going to belabor the situation. I'm hoping that we get a phone call from those people that are not here, but I guess I'm just going to shut it down. Okay. All right, then. Okay, Ed, you ready? Can we continue? Okay. We did review the attendance requirement for the commission members. Would anyone like to share what we agreed upon?
Well, as reflected in the minutes, the discussion last week, and it was not on the agenda, so we couldn't take action. But I think the consensus from listening to the conversation was that the group wanted to make a recommendation to city council and the mayor that if a member missed 4 consecutive meetings without being excused, there would be a recommendation. You don't have the authority to remove a member, but you would make a recommendation to either whoever the appointing authority is. Some members of this commission were appointed by council and some were appointed by the mayor, that you would make a recommendation to the appointing authority for consideration of possible action to remove that board member or commission member.
No, I would like the discussion before but yeah, when you're ready, yeah. Okay. Is there a discussion at this point? Go ahead, go right ahead. Oh, okay, okay. All right.
Typically, the motion is made, seconded, and then there's followed by discussion before the vote is called.
Mhm.
Okay.
Your button.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm not used to this.
Put it in front of you.
From what I understand with the other boards, commissions, authorities, and committees, if anybody misses 3 meetings, not 4, it's 3 meetings, not
Mm.
4,
Mhm.
that it is recommended then with unexcused. Because if they're excused, it's a whole nother story.
Mhm.
And if you're attending by Zoom, it's perfectly legit. But if you're not, then the recommendation would be for the removal of that individual and then a replacement. And that's what's been traditionally utilized.
Ms. Perez is correct. There are a number of places in the law for various boards that if 3 consecutive meetings are missed, that the person is subject to removal. So she's right about that.
So I'm okay with amending it to be 3, but I think we don't have the authority to
Correct.
remove members. So it's the
Correct.
case of essentially the rest of that motion. So if you need to amend it,
Yeah.
Just amend the number.
yeah.
Okay.
I-
For the amended, for the
amend
amended
motion to
motion,
be
would
3
there be a second, the
consecutive.
same? Okay, very good. Now we're ready to vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Seeing that there is none opposed, let us move.
Did we lose Carl?
I don't know. I'm sending him a text right now.
Okay. Oh, he did? He'll come back. Okay. All right. Now, the next on the agenda is the
He
approval.
says he can't hear.
Oh, he can't hear?
Yeah, let me.
Mm-hmm.
Back to number 6, please.
Does anyone have a problem?
Speaker, right now. You said you can't hear, correct?
No, usually Morrison, I hear her Will, but the rest of the Tanya Menendez, I hear Will. But before Tanya, somebody else told her I don't hear Will.
Yeah.
That's because if you don't
I
use,
raised the hand for to talk.
because he wanted to talk and
Mm.
nobody acknowledged us.
I don't have a, okay,
I saw his hand raised, but I thought he was
Okay,
saying yes to being.
okay.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna leave you on the phone. We're gonna speak into the microphone. And if you wanna say anything, just say, I'm raising my hand.
She saw the hand.
Back on Zoom and we'll issue the
Okay.
day.
So she did realize what.
They said for you to get back on Zoom, they have a person running the Zoom meeting. And she's gonna put you, raise your hand and then she'll acknowledge. If not, then we'll call you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you. So he is here.
He was on at the beginning.
Okay,
Oh, good for you.
Carlos. Okay. Okay, so give me your preferences. Did you want to go back to the review, and that's going to be for the time we are here?
I think we need
It's
to,
up to you.
I would say we need to go back to the review.
Okay. Anyone else?
I would like to continue with the agenda and I'd like us to follow the protocol that you mentioned. One thought
But it is an agenda
One thought
item.
that can I finish? Okay, one thought that I have is that maybe our executive committee should have a pre-meeting because it sounds like there's a lot of push from, at least you have a lot of thoughts about leadership, and that's your right as the co-chair, but perhaps is it possible to have a executive team meeting so that when we come here, the leadership team has already organized the way you want to approach the work that we're doing? Because I hear your comment about the review and purpose, and I saw the document that you prepared, yet last week when can I please finish? I think I have the floor. And last week, I believe I heard our chairperson go over a list that was more high-level view of the actual steps that we should take for the work that we're doing. So I would like to see items added to the agenda the proper way and then reviewed properly. But we do have a pending item to review the charter language that started 3 weeks ago now, 2?
2
weeks ago, and I'd like to not see too much time expire between when we start that review and when we complete the review. Thank you for allowing me to finish my comments.
Do I have to explain that it's not the same thing? Item 6, not item 6A, just 6, talks about what is the purpose of this group meeting for the 6 months, what is our job while we're here, and what is our reach. It has nothing to do with 6A. 6A has already been moved to next week, that it's not being touched. So, which is why I said, can we go back to number 6? Because literally explains the reason why we're here. And I think everybody needs to be on the same page, including our members of the community.
I don't see a 6A, so I'm not clear on what you mean. I see a
Can I-
5A. Oh, okay, okay, so my agenda is not the same. I still have the draft. I'm still looking at the draft. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Okay, so
That's
this
the
is not the
consideration
strategic
of
plan.
strategic
Tanya, you
plan.
are correct. I was assuming you meant the strategic plan that you sent, which we do want to go over, but I don't think it's in order for this meeting.
No.
Remember, I circulated an initial draft of the agenda. At the time the initial draft was circulated, 6A was not on it. Ms. Melendez then forwarded material to me later on Friday, which is 6A. That was added and was on the final version of the agenda, which was circulated Monday or Tuesday.
So I'm unclear. So our chairperson did approve that for the agenda? Because I got the impression today it was not approved in advance.
Well, we didn't have a protocol yet. Remember, we're still getting organized. So Ms. Melendez sent the material to me and asked me to circulate it to the board or to the members of the commission, which I did, and to add it to the agenda. Henceforth, going forward, we will run those things through the chair, but at that point, we didn't really have a protocol.
Thank you for that redress. I was under the impression that all items for the agenda would be discussed in this meeting prior to going onto the agenda, and I had not heard of it. But if it is something that we want to review, let's review it. But just, if we have a protocol, let's follow it. That's all I'm saying.
Can
Is there anyone else?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ann.
On the subject of the overview of the Charter Review Commission purpose and scope, the first agenda that we got has from the Charter Section 1203. And I've assumed that that paragraph is the one that we need to be looking at to review scope and power. And that tells us what we can do and what authority we have and what authority we don't have.
Yes.
So I have, if anybody wants copies, I have.
No, we have it. We do. Mhm. Thank you, Ann.
Right.
Thank you, Ann.
Yeah.
I think that, one, we're going to, I'll make the executive decision that we're going to leave out the consideration for the strategic plan. We're already going to be dealing with the purpose and the scope, not only throughout the process, but also when we get to also the Charter Review Commission. I think we need to look at that as well, okay? So I'm anxious to get to the review. I'm anxious to get to the review simply because we need to, and so does the public. And this is being, I agree with what you said in terms of perhaps a executive meeting, just so we can get that together in terms of our leadership, and then be able to come back to the meeting and then be able to have our collective perspectives. And then we can make sure that the rest of the members are informed of whatever. But there's no voting or any type of vote or motion to be made during those executive meetings. Does that make sense? So that would be the chair, the treasury, the co-chairs, and we still need to do the secretary. That's the key. So what's the druthers here? What? Because I'm anxious to get to the review. Okay, seeing that, do we have any questions or, okay, seeing that we don't, so let us move forward, please. Okay, so I believe there was a letter that was brought out last week, the discussion, and that was to city council, and that was by the charter timing. and that was you, Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Okay.
Do I
Now,
need- do I
let
need-
us, let
I-
us,
Do I need to read it again?
yeah, let's go. Let's review that letter.
Well, this letter will be addressed to the honorable members of City Council. As member of the Charter Review Commission of the City of Reading, I respectfully submit this formal request for an extension of 6 months of our mandated review period. As outlined in 1203 of the Reading Home Rule Charter, the commission is required to review the current charter, submit a report to the city council, the mayor, and the citizens of the city within 6 months of its appointment, and recommend any proposed amendments to the charter. Due to a delay of approximately 1 year in convening the commission, stemming from late appointments and organization confusion within City Hall, we were unable to begin our work in a timely manner. This delay has significantly impacted our ability to conduct a thorough and inclusive review within the original 6 months window, fulfill its obligation under 1203 with integrity and transparency, conduct meaningful public engagement, and solicit citizen input. Review proposed amendments with appropriate legal and administrative guidance. Ensure that any recommendations are well and consider and reflect the needs of Reading's residents. We recognize that the charter does not specify penalties for delays in convening the commission, nor does it prohibit city council from granting any relief justified. We believe this notice aligns with the spirit of the charter and the democratic principles it upholds. We appreciate you consideration and support in noticing the delay. We remain committed to serving the residents of Reading with diligence and care as we are current members of the Charter Review Commission. Respectfully, Adela Rodriguez.
You wanting to address city council.
Yes.
Did you expect us to collaborate with that letter?
As a whole, yes, because
So-
I'm assuming that we are one, right? We are a group of the Review Charter Commission.
So if I can, if we're going to take this as a motion, that would be then approved by the commission. The only thing I would ask you to do is to change the very first sentence in your letter from I'm sending this letter to I'm sending this letter on behalf of the Charter Review Commission.
Thank you for that.
I think it's very good. And then the other question I had is.
Your microphone.
The only question I had is, when did you plan to deliver that letter?
I was hoping that the next city council meeting.
I see, okay. All right, anyone?
I would suggest that there be a motion to approve the issuance of that letter on behalf of the commission.
Right. Yeah, that was my, yeah,
Sorry.
Go ahead, Sheila.
That was Carlos's concern. His
Mhm.
concern was, he wasn't aware, he wasn't at the last meeting.
Mhm.
But his concern was that if Adela had issued it to everybody, that we didn't approve it as a body.
Correct, yeah.
And I told him that the only thing that was discussed was the actual letter and that we would be discussing that, but that Adela didn't send it to anybody on
Correct.
behalf of the commission.
That was.
So I clarified.
Still, if you make the motion, I'll second it.
Go- Okay. No, wait, let's hear the motion.
Make the motion to send a letter.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
make a-
first thing, that's the first thing. Okay, so,
Yeah, I make a motion to send the letter to
okay,
city council.
as the change, and you second. Okay, that's. the
Thank you,
first
Mr.
thing.
Dave.
That's the first.
And thank you for allowing for me to see that I need to make some corrections. Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah.
And hearing the motion, and is there a discussion? Go ahead.
I think it's way too early to submit to council a document stating that we have not had enough time to do our job when we have barely started it.
Mhm.
The
Okay.
letter, to me, the points are all well taken. I think it's preemptive. We haven't even started, we haven't been even working on the actual charter yet. And we've met for 4 meetings. And we can ask to clarify when our deadline is from them, if they have an expectation, and then we can work on that, since they took so long to establish the commission.
Mhm.
But if they haven't even given us a hard deadline, why are we sending a letter to ask them to extend a non-existing deadline? Or am I wrong? Is there a deadline?
There is a 6-month deadline.
No, that's what I'm saying, but it says from the appointment, and we didn't get appointed for a year. So the charter, again, the same charter article that you discussed, Adela, says, shall review the current charter, submit a report to city council, the mayor, and the citizens of the city within 6 months of its appointment.
Mhm.
So we didn't even get appointed for a year. Like, we got appointed and then we didn't get started for a year.
Yes.
So we need, if we're going to address council, my opinion is to address the timeline.
Okay.
What are your expectations for this body and by when? And then we can discuss whether we need to extend it or not.
Okay, point well taken. Is there something, yes, go ahead.
I
Adele.
would like to address your statement. That I take, it makes sense. But part of my point is to make sure that that is recorded and noted, okay? That this has been going on, all right? The fact that it has been taken so long, I need that to be recorded.
That's perfectly understandable.
Okay, so that's part of my purpose with the letter.
I perfectly understand that
Okay.
and I agree. However, could we not get it recorded in a different way where we say, hey, it took you a year to get us started. What is your expected timeline? Because the charter says this, instead of beginning with, we haven't had enough time. That's my reasoning behind changing the theme of the letter. Not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying it shouldn't go on record. It should go on record. Things should be done in a timely manner. However, as a body saying we haven't had enough time, it's not a reasonable expectation to ask for an extension because we haven't really been working on it. But to say, hey, we don't have a deadline, that is an expectation they should be able to fulfill.
Okay.
It's my opinion.
I see Ann, go ahead.
I really like this letter, and I also agree with Tanya that maybe instead of sending it now, send it like at the last council meeting in October, when we can say, we've been meeting for over, 2 months now,
Mhm.
and we feel like, we've been working really hard, and we feel like we need more time.
Is
I
it-
also have a concern. May tie in with the letter, I'm not sure, but asking city council for money. When are we gonna, is that a separate?
Yeah, that's a separate issue, but
That's a separate
yes,
issue,
let's
but
get,
But
we'll
I do,
we'll
thi-
get
I
with
think
that.
you're right to send that letter, but I would wait until later, after we've had more time to meet.
Thank you,
Well-
Ann. Is there anything else?
Yes, I would like to address just 1 minute. I will definitely agree and take in consideration, both of you's statement. And, I will make a little change. I'll rewrite it, make a little change. If everyone here agrees on that. If you make a
There's a vote. We still have a vote to do. Go ahead. We're still in discussion.
Also, one of the things that's a pet peeve of mine
Mm.
is that when we are appointed as commissioners, be it commissioners, be it whatever, the HOMU charter, the HOMU Charter Board should be educating us prior to the onset of this meeting, so that when we finally meet, we hit the ground running and not spend a month and a half reviewing the charter.
Mm.
If anything, that should have been given to us, that ability to meet with whomever so that we could begin the education on the HOMU Charter and exactly what it is that the HOMU Charter review, the scope of what it is that we're supposed to do. Now, I read the charter through and through from 2001, when I was appointed as commissioner then, in 2018, 2019, as I was appointed then, or 2019, 2020, and now, because it changes.
Hmm.
Now, not everybody does that.
Mhm.
So it's about passion. How passionate are you? Because we should have read this before we came in here, but nothing would have been better. It would have been better if the education came from the city and offering us a class like they're supposed to do for city council when they get elected. It's no different. Everyone who's a department head, everyone who's appointed to a board, commission, authority, or committee should be able to take the same class so that we then can say we have 6 months. But because we're only meeting once a week, my recommendation was twice a week for a month because of all of this and because of my experience as a commissioner on here. But not everybody, that was my only gripe. So going forward, I would hope that that would change.
Let me make a suggestion if I can, that you make some changes and adjustments based on this conversation to the letter and bring it back to the meeting next week.
excuse me?
Make the changes that you've been hearing and you suggested you're going to make, and bring the letter back to this group next week for us to look at and approve.
Okay, and then, no, wait, we have a vote. Should we have the letter?
To me, like, Mr.
Myers,
Myers.
I thought, if Ms. Rodriguez withdraws her motion, you seconded
I
it.
second it.
And we'll just put it on the agenda for next week.
Right.
And then a vote.
Yeah.
Now, was there something else, Adela? But we
that-
have one on the floor. Where are we at with that one? To send the letter.
That motion's been withdrawn.
So who said that? Who, did you withdraw that letter? That,
Until it's rewritten.
okay, for next week, so we have that on the agenda.
And he seconded
Thank you,
that.
thank you very.
Until it's rewritten.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you so much. I appreciate, the time that you're giving me with this. I'm new to this and, I'm trying to get involved with it. And, just the fact that it was late, I was really concerned about that.
And I'm concerned because you said something else about, because you said something about because it was late, you had wanted to make a motion the last time.
Yeah, and I still do if it's possible.
What is that motion? Because you had a motion the last time, and I just wanted to know what the nature of that.
the motion, if I may make a motion, the motion was to include the primary general election through the ballot questions.
I see.
That was.
So you were saying that our work would be able to impact the, the
Primary
primary
and
and oh, okay,
general election.
Let 'em-
okay, all right. Let's bring that back next week, right? And then we can vote on, we can,
Legal advice, is that within the scope of what we can do?
yeah, yes, it is. Mhm.
It's not totally clear to me what is being suggested, but that topic really should be later in the process when you are actually looking at making recommendations to modify the charter or revise the charter. I mean, it would be certainly appropriate at that point to consider that issue. Just strikes me as very premature at this point.
So,
I just want to mention that it's been done in the past. We have impacted both the primary and the November elections, considering the fact that we're only allowed to put 6 referendums on the ballot, even though the 2012, 2013 commission were able to put 7.
so I think let's hold off to next meeting and then we can deal with that a little bit.
Okay,
Better.
like I said, I'm
And it is the fact that we can impact both elections, you see, because we're putting together the recommendations for the primary election, and then we're also asking city council to consider the general election as well. That's part of our,
Can I get clarification on what part of the charter that is from? That way I can make a note so we don't forget it when we get to that section.
yes.
What part of the charter allows for us to affect the elections? So I can make a note of it from when we get to that section of
when
the charter.
it talks about being able to have the recommendation for the referendums and for the initiatives for, so we'll get to that in 12.
Section 12.
Yeah.
Is that where it's at? Section
Yeah.
12? Article 10.
It's not totally clear to me what we're talking about, so we'll get to it.
Okay.
I'm not sure where it is exactly.
It's in 12.
We've done it.
Yes.
Nobody ever.
Okay,
questioned it.
let's move towards
City
what
council.
we, yeah, let's move towards,
I'm gonna put it on 12.
yeah,
Yep, I just put it on 12, so.
good, okay. Okay,
Well, I'm sorry if I'm creating some kind of, but
please, please.
I find myself.
My bad. I am a type A person and I need to make a note. So when we get there, I remember that you mentioned it. So I needed to find where it went on the charter.
Yeah,
But Ed said to just keep it on section 12 and that's what we're doing.
Thank you.
So
okay.
some of us need to have spelled out and some other of us need a little concept. Okay, but let us be together and work together as a group so that we can move this out, okay? All right, so we will put that on the agenda for next week. And that will be an agenda item. Okay. So let's look at 9, hiring translation services for commission meetings. Now, wait, I don't know, did we say we were gonna hire translations? Yeah. Now, what I did was I met with Kent. He is the person that is the director for the IT. And the one thing he said, they cannot in that system be able to, the captions in Spanish, only in English. And that's the inhibiting part of that, um, the caption, okay? So it's not going to be in Spanish, okay?
I have a major problem with that, considering the fact that our voter base is over 70% Afro-Latino Hispano. And this is supposed to be an inclusive process. We keep asking the same English-speaking people with organizations, but we have failed and time again as commissioners to translate the charter in Spanish. So we're asking for input from people that don't even know what the charter is because it's never been translated. Since 2019, when we gave it to the Home Charter Review Board to get it translated, this year we paid someone to do exactly what we had done, and it's not even legally certified. So what is the process here? Why is it taking so long to be able to do the outreach and education through the materials in Spanish? Our city council meetings should be captioned in Spanish. These meetings should be put on Facebook like everything else in order to educate the people with the captions in Spanish, French, I don't care what it is, but any language should be able to be captured in the caption. If we're not doing that, it gives the message that you don't want the high base to learn, to get involved, and to change. Right now, the commission study to change the government that was
Hold on.
proposed by a council members, I'm not done yet. That was proposed, it's not a citizens initiative, it's proposed by council members. So the Afro-Latino Hispano people, business owners, students, homeless people, people in low-income housing, professionals should be surveyed so that we can get full impact into how we can alter the Home Rule Charter Review for the people, not the people who are governed by the charter, but by the people who pay the taxes, who own the properties, who provide, who live off the services and are impacted on a day-to-day. We purposely, to me, it's purposely done because you don't want the input from the large Afro-Latino Hispano base. I'm sorry, but
Thank
this
you.
has gone on too long.
Okay, thank you for your passion.
Thank you.
I think that's something that when we interview with the city council, because they did have the ordinance to do the translation. I think that's something that we can, when we interview, I believe Jamie was a part of that ordinance. I think he initiated it, okay? So I think that's something that can be pursued when we meet with city council to see where they're at and what they may need to do or be, you know. So I think that's something if you, oh, yes, go ahead,
I just-
please.
I don't disagree with a lot of what you say. I'm wondering if that's something when we ever present a budget to city council and say, this is what we need, and this is what we need money for, maybe we need money for interpretation services. Because I think that we do need to let people know it is a disservice to them, to most of the residents of the city, if we don't translate things into Spanish. And I'm wondering if anywhere on the website, and you can't answer this because you don't work here, but it's just a rhetorical question, is the charter translated into Spanish? Or can it be translated? I'm sure it can be translated into Spanish. Anything can be translated.
But the problem is the legal certification. We can translate it, but if it's not legally certified,
Well, I think that
It's
that's something we
pointless.
could work on.
pardon me?
But I think that's something we could work on, and I think that, but I do think that we should find out how much it would cost to have an interpreter and put that in the budget that we present to City Hall, whenever we do that, to City Council, which I think we need to do
Sooner rather than
soon.
later.
When we
So-
give them the letter, give them the budget.
Can I go?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, let me just, so you don't go down a sidetrack. I mean, following the meeting last week, I did forward to the city managing director and the city finance director what was agreed upon at last meeting of a appropriation of $15,000 followed by the possibility of another $5,000. That was acknowledged by the finance director and is, being considered by the city.
Thank you.
So, our interpretation services are absolutely important. There are companies online who will do live interpretation. So they would be a member of the Facebook or the Zoom meeting, and they would then do the translation for those who are either here or listening. But it would extend our meetings in a lot of ways, because I've done interpretation for other people. So just so we know, it is absolutely, I'm not saying it's not necessary. So as we look for it, either we ask them to create Spanish subtitles rather than speak, would be a lot better. That's just my opinion, because I've done a lot of interpretation, and when I'm able to just type it in Spanish as people are talking and somebody's looking at it on a screen, it's very different from stop the meeting and then I say it in Spanish. So that's just my point when it comes to interpretation. Now, the translation, the website of the city is in Spanish. And any page that you open on the city website, you click the Spanish and it'll translate it. Now, I understand which is perfectly reasonable, when we finally finish this document, that it get translated. So again, I'm gonna make a note on mine that when we get to the scope of this body that we put in here, that the final document be physically presented in a certified Spanish version as well as an English version. And I think that should cover, right, all of our bases on that. But we need to find a service. So it's just, how do we go about finding a service?
I agree. But one last thing, Tanya, and I don't think everybody knows. Right now, when I was zooming in, it gives you the ability to get a language. So I said, let me try Spanish. Didn't accept it. We speak English. We need it in Spanish. Okay, that's one issue. The second issue with regards to the website, if the document is a PDF, it doesn't translate it. So I'm noticing that a lot of documents are purposely put in as a PDF and not as a Word format so that it could be translated. So that's a major issue. Okay? And I'm letting you know because as an advocate, and I don't want you to think that
I don't disagree. It's just that most likely they're put in PDF format so nobody can edit them.
I know,
So
but if
once
you
they're in
can't
PDF, they're
translate.
sealed.
Okay.
Right. I know what you're saying. So how do we find a way
I
for
don't
people
know.
to translate them as they go is what we need to consider.
Okay, thank you.
Things that they did translate the charter. It's already done. But as Sheila was saying, the certification to make sure that every legal concept was equally in Spanish as it was in English. And as far as the IT Kent, he said there's no way that they could make the captions in Spanish. And I met with him just so we could deal with this. So that we need to, one, make sure that we deal with the ordinance that actually created the funding to put it in Spanish, the contract that the company got and submitted and completed to translate it, but it is not yet legally bounded. That is the whole thing. So then we need to deal with that. And I think it's something that city council can answer as well. So that might be a question that we, get ready to ask them as well.
No, instead, we were told that since it's not legally certified, then the English version would supersede the Spanish version. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not
Let's
good
get
with
that
that.
in writing. Let's
Okay?
get that in
That's
writing.
what we were told.
Let's get that in writing so that we would have a documentation to see what is happening. Because apparently, we don't want to be, going around the mulberry bush, but at the same time, we need to find out where they're at with the translation, whether or not it's going to be legally certified, and who does the work. Because it's really important, as you all said, that it needs to be in Spanish, both manually and also on the website. Okay? So, okay. So we're at 10, hiring the recording secretary, translator.
You need a motion?
No, I would like a discussion.
Oh.
At this point, there's no, the recording secretary and the translator.
Can I?
Go right ahead.
It's my understanding that Raquel Capellan, has expressed interest in becoming the recording secretary. I think it would be an excellent choice, especially considering the fact that Raquel was called to establish the Legacy Cities Project. In addition to that, her communication skills and her dedication to the causes make her top-notch. So I mean, it's a lot of work. Being a recording secretary is a lot of work. I know because I did it and I couldn't continue because as a commissioner, I couldn't be compensated, and the hours that are spent doing it, it's a lot of hours. So I believe that the same salary that was established in 2013, 2014 should be the same salary that we should keep right now, because she's a professional, she's diligent, responsible, and I think a very good pick, and she wants to know more. She has a passion to learn more about the city, and she's una joven, a young person. So to see a young person wanting to get involved and wanting to learn more and having the skill set that she has, I believe she would be a top-notch person to be able to take on that task. And in addition to the fact in terms of translations, we have Google Translate, we have AI translations. And just because they're translated doesn't mean that we don't have to go back and review those translations to ensure that the context is still the same. So there's still a lot of work to be done. The recording secretary at that time was being paid $100 per every meeting, so that's $50 an hour, and then $40 an hour to be able to transfer the minutes into a Word document, a written document. And also, at that time, there was no translation. So she's translating. Those skills alone warrant the pay. So $40 an hour, $100 every meeting, however long she takes, she gives us the
It's a motion.
invoices, and they get
Not
approved.
yet, no. Is there anyone else?
If I can, I worked with Raquel on the Legacy
Yeah.
Cities project very closely. She did a very good job in a very stressful time.
Oh, you worked with
Is there anything else? Anne?
If we don't have I'm still confused. I hate to keep going back to the budget, but if we don't have money, how are we going to pay her?
We
If
have,
we don't have anything approved.
yeah.
We've
we don't have
gotten
an
the,
account.
I'm sorry. In the past, we've always gotten the appropriations. And when Evelise Gonzalez worked it, we didn't have the money, but she worked on as a recording secretary. And then once it was appropriated, we paid her all the backed invoices.
If it's
So-
okay with Raquel.
Okay. Is there
So
anything
can I
else?
say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Ed, what's your input?
Sorry?
What's your input?
Well, I mean, I think you can move to hire Ms. Kaplan as long as it's understood. I mean, you do not have at the moment any approved budgetary authority. I think Ms. Perez is correct. It likely will be forthcoming, but it's not in place as of yet. If Ms. Kaplan understands that, if she begins as recording secretary, say, next week, she may have to wait to get paid until the budget authority is put into place. And I would love not to have to do the minutes.
The what?
I would love not to have to do the minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Adele, you had something?
I don't know that we actually have a formal motion on the table.
I move that
So
we,
somebody should make a motion.
oh, okay.
I make a motion to hire Raquel Capelan as the recording secretary, and to utilize the budget of $100 per meeting and $40 per hour for the translation of the minutes into English and in Spanish.
I second motion.
I would like to amend the motion to wait on the salary until we get a budget approved and we have a better idea of the cap of hours that we are going to pay. Every time we have done a contract for people, like, we have a cap. So I would like us to look at see if the council approves the budget as we asked, fantastic. Then we can discuss the rate, because we don't have a budget to approve. Otherwise, if we amend today that we will establish a cap now, then we can move forward. Because if there's no cap, as in what is the maximum hours per week or per month, we don't know what it's going to be at the end. So we need to establish a fair budget.
Okay.
May I?
Go
join in?
ahead, Dee.
A comment. I actually agree because we don't have any budget approved. And in fairness to you, you should know precisely what your job description is. You should know precisely what your compensation is. And if there is a max, you should know that as well. So in fairness, I really think we should wait until we have some idea of what the budget is. And I also think that we need, at least as the person reporting on our budget, I need a little history of what we have paid, what this commission has paid in the past. Because while I hear all of the comments here, I do believe in my own research. So if I read it, then I'm truly on board with that. But I agree that I think are just a little too fast unless you understand all this ambiguity exists and you sign off that you're okay with that, because I don't want an employment issue to hit us later.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Even though we had requested a $15,000 budget with a 5,000, the ability to be able to request 5,000 if need be, right? We have to remember that the services, everything went up. Professional services went up, printing of copies went up, everything went up. And we never allocated the appropriations to this commission accordingly. because we did little to no outreach to our constituency. So that's something that we need to keep in mind, because going forward, things have to be translated. We have to have public hearings. There has to be marketing. And none of that has been factored in. And again, we're in 2025 where, I mean, even the 2019, 2020 commission, that was only for 3 months. And even then, the outreach wasn't done. I have a totally different approach in terms of how we could bring in more people to do the surveys, not the selected few that the surveys go to time and time again for their input. And their stake isn't as high as everybody else's. So that's all I want to keep in mind. That's why I had a problem with only going with 15 instead of 20. We should have been asking for 25 at a minimum. So that's all I have to say for the record.
Okay. You had an amendment to the motion.
Well, she can't amend this. Perez made the motion, so she can't amend the motion. I think Ms. Melendez was actually just making a comment.
Okay.
regarding-
Okay. So at this point, we had a motion on the floor. We had a second. But I'm asking to make an amendment. In that, I believe there needs to be a proving time in which we would be able to utilize, once we do have a budget, so that we can increase you as time goes on. And instead of the $100, to do something other than the $100. And then as you are proving yourself, and I say proving yourself because the work is pretty deep, and that we are willing to help you in that regard. Because you did say that you didn't have any experience at this point, okay? But that's okay, because we are willing to do that. So I would make an amendment that we have at least an increase a little later on. And that's just a thought. And now, what would you like to say?
So if I may speak, oh, it's too loud. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Pastor Morrison, and Commission. I'm not necessarily okay with proving myself, because quite honestly, with all due respect to you, Reverend Morrison, and myself, most importantly, I have a lot of self-respect, especially with a lot of struggles and challenges that I've dealt with in my own community throughout the past 2 years plus. As far as proving myself, do I necessarily have an organization that I've done a ton of translations or maybe interpretations through? Not necessarily. Have I worked with various nonprofits and a lot of grassroots individuals who tend to get ignored and overlooked, underserved, and not even funded? Absolutely, yes. Do I need to prove myself? No. Might I have a decently well-known name in my own community here in the city of Reading? I believe so. However, the need to prove myself, just the thought of it and hearing that statement feels exhausting, because myself and other advocates around the community, especially in the city and the county, we're tired. We're tired of having to prove ourselves. We have the skill set, we have the passion, we have the talent, and we have an extensive amount of experience. And as far as myself, and with respect to myself, I'm sorry, but I can't put myself in a situation where I'm compromising my own integrity, my own self-trust, or my own self-respect. But I do
Ma'am.
appreciate the opportunity, and if you need further clarification, I will provide. But I do agree with the 2 amendments that were proposed.
I just wanted to say that's not personal. We're talking about
It is.
not, we're
It's
not,
personal and professional.
that was not what it was meant to be as a personal. This was about being able to do the work. It was only the job title that we were looking at. There was nothing personal. I know you.
I agree, and
I
I
know you
understand,
well.
Reverend Morrison.
Yeah,
However,
and so, no, that was not to be a personal comment at all, okay? So I hope that you forgive me if you took that personal.
I
I'm
didn't take it in
talking-
a negative light, if that's what you
Okay,
mean. Not
that's
at all.
right.
Not
I
at
would
all.
like to be heard at this.
But,
point.
yes, but I just think that there's a certain amount of, maybe this might be too much of a strong word, but there's a certain amount of oppression that comes with people, especially people on the grassroots level, having to constantly prove ourselves and still not being able to receive the amount of dedication, recognition, or even funding for our own worth. And that we're still constantly overlooked and underserved.
I
So that's not something
understand.
that I'm necessarily okay with, but thank you.
Raquel,
And I think everything happens for a reason, because it's about time that I start speaking up.
okay, that's good, Raquel, that's really good. That we all go through that. All of us have been dealing with this same oppression.
So when are we
And
going
that
to
is
cut that?
not, that is not what,
When will that end?
well, that's something
When
we
will
all have
peace
to
and
do.
social justice actually be restored
Okay.
and reinvigorated into our city and our community?
So I'm saying to
Rhetorical
you,
food for thought.
I'm saying to you, is there any other question?
This is why I proposed the salary that was the 2012, 2013. There was not a problem paying that recording secretary who didn't speak Spanish. And I hate to say it, she was Caucasian. I hate to bring that up, but it seems that
But Sheila, if we remember, and I'm going to interrupt, we paid Eva Lise, how much?
$25 an hour, and only because
Mhm.
people opposed. Not that we wanted to pay her that,
Mhm,
but notice the discrepancy.
mhm.
And she was a professional. She worked
Yeah,
at OVR as a director.
yes, she did.
She had to be here. She gave up her time. She recorded everything, translated
Did
everything,
Everything, yeah.
the minutes in English and then in Spanish.
Mhm.
That's a lot of work.
It was
I know, because I.
We did it.
So the fact that we want to put a cap on 40, on how many hours, we don't know how many hours it's gonna take to translate, because the meetings can go for however long they need to go.
Well, we said 2 hours. so-
And 2 hours,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that it's
Yeah,
always
right.
2 hours.
Your mic is not on.
So
Okay.
that's my
Okay.
concern. I would like to be fair.
Okay.
And fair is fair. She needs to be paid for her experience. She's already a leader in the community. She's a professional and she speaks Spanish.
Mhm.
So,
None of that is, my opinion, none of that is under even question.
Yeah.
And I agree with the amount you proposed. However, and you will be the one presenting the budget at the end. When I do a budget, I want to have a number of what we expect to spend. When you design a cap, you can always say, except you can always make a motion that we need to extend her hours for whatever reason that month. But when you prepare a budget, you prepare it with a cap on it. It is not a legally binding document. We then present an actual expenses. And we can make a motion later on to say, hey, we need to amend the proposed budget to extend the hours to this many hours because we have a community outreach that's gonna, take more of the hours than we had originally thought. So what I proposed was to your motion that we add that she's going to need, once the budget is passed, we would have to provide a job description and the expected hours she would be working. That is what I proposed the amendment to your motion were, not discussing the salary amount or the expected, just job description and expected salary.
Okay, and then
Anything-
one last thing, Tanya, and I recognize that totally. So we did a basic calculation of how much it would be. And we capped the hours at just 2 hours, right? So an hour for the meeting, 2 hours for the meeting, and then 2 hours for the minutes. It could be longer, I don't know, right? So for 6 months, it turned out to be about $5,000. So that's what we came up with. That's only 2 hours of,
Okay.
2 hours for the it's for the minutes to be translated into a Word document and then the translation. Like I said, it could be 3 hours, I don't know, because I'm basing it on what it took me.
Will
Sometimes
you
it
be
was 3 hours.
providing, will you be writing her job description so you can bring it next meeting and we can just
You want me
approve
to
it?
do that? I can.
Does everybody else agree with me? It's not just me opening my
Yeah.
mouth.
No, we agree with
We
you.
agree.
I
It's a
agree.
consensus.
I think a job description would be great.
And the
Okay.
same out.
You want me to do it? I can do it. No,
So-
present it.
Procedurally, what I'm hearing is you will withdraw your motion tonight, Ms.
Yeah.
Perez, and then we'll bring it back on the agenda next week, but by then you'll have a job description.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do we need a copy of her resume?
Can
our
you-
records?
No,
I
I
like
can't.
that.
At some point, email the head, the copy of your resume, just for the record. Please, thank you.
And let me ask your forgiveness, because if you took it any one particular way, as you know, we're in this together. And I ask for forgiveness if there was any injury to your personhood. Amen? So that we will be able to move in this. Know, when I say to prove ourselves is in the work, not in your personality or your condition. That's nothing like that. But thank
I
you.
understand Reverend Morrison, and I appreciate it. I'm not necessarily injured. It takes quite a long time for me to feel that hurt. However, I think just my main point was actually something, I'm glad I said everything I said, and I hope it resonated in one way, shape, or form with everybody here. But yeah, just to reiterate, myself and many other advocates are just tired of being underserved and having to prove ourselves, not necessarily on a personal basis only, but through our work. So, I think it's just really important, as we think of the dollar, it tends to be tied to our worth, right? When you want a job, full-time or part-time job, you're like, hey, like this salary or this certain amount of X amount of hourly pay rate is supposed to be tied to my experience, my worth, who I am, et cetera. However, again, just with all due respect to myself, might sound selfish to some people, but I don't necessarily think it's selfish because I think before we continue to talk about the collective and the we and the group and getting people together, it's important to collectivize yourself and talk about the me and the I and pay respect and homage to the work that we all do as individuals as well. So I hope that was better said. I do have a lot of respect for you as well, Reverend Morrison, so please take note of that. However, when you go through a certain amount of things and get so much pushback as a grassroots advocate, which you know very well, Reverend Morrison, and all of us in this room, you start to level yourself up and start to position yourself at a more strategic level, and that is what I am ready for, not just through this position, but with the community. And on top of that, I hope everything that I'm saying resonates in some way. So
Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
I would like to say something.
Mhm.
Raquel, I feel your words very profoundly because I've worked alongside with you and I've done community advocate alongside your side, and I know how passionate you are. Okay, and being a graduate, okay, I get it. So I will vouch for you.
So
Thank
I'm
you.
asking you to come back next week.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, all right. So, is every heart and mind clear?
I withdraw the motion to appoint Raquel as recording secretary until next week, at which point I will provide a job description along with resume and also the proposed salary for, that we're going to consider for Raquel Capelan.
Okay. that- You withdrew.
I second.
You withdrew. Yeah, you don't need a second. Okay. All right, we'll put that on for the agenda next week. Okay, now, what time is it?
7:15.
7:15? 7:11? Okay. So somewhere between 7:11 and 7:15. All right. So now, if what? I heard something.
We were be able to talk on the 20, on what I feel with regards to the 2013, 2014.
Well,
At this point, it
I-
doesn't look
No, because I was saying, why don't we deal with that once we do deal with the,
like the strategic plan and the whole.
yeah. You know, if anybody is in agreement with that, a consensus for next week, and then we'll get that together and we'll do that.
So Tom, is that the strategic review?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's on the agenda for next week. Okay,
Just really quick, I'll be sending an updated version of this via email. Is it okay if I send it to everybody? It's the exact same document, it's just updated.
okay, Did-
That we are going to consider next week. I want everybody to have the latest version.
okay, all right.
That's all I want, everybody to have the latest version before we get here next week.
Okay. Is there when was your latest version? Oh, okay. Okay, very good. All right. Good, okay, great, thank you. All right. I believe we're at the point where we have okay, Ed.
We have 17 minutes to do the rest of the charter.
No, we won't,
The rest.
we won't.
What's that? Yeah. All right, so where we left off in the review 2 weeks ago was we had finished Article 4, which was the managing director. So we now turn to Article 5, which is the city auditor. Section 501 just deals with the election of the auditor and the beginning of the term. Section 502 does contain the eligibility requirements for the auditor. There was a question raised by someone at the meeting 2 weeks ago, I think in connection with the office of mayor, as to whether there were any qualifications. And, you know, for that position, the only qualification is to be a registered voter. But as you see here, the city auditor, in addition to residing in the city and being a registered voter, should have a bachelor's degree in business administration, municipal government, accounting, management, or a related field. So the charter does call for specific requirements for the position of auditor. Section 503 sets forth the responsibilities of the auditor. Have financial oversight of city finances, independent of the executive and legislative branches, and is to review all expenditures of the mayor, city council, city boards, commissions, and agencies, review the annual budget before approval by council, and make recommendations of a non-binding nature, be present or represented at all council meetings, perform specific audits of city finances, report to council on the progress of the implementation of any recommendations are found in the annual audit and management letter. The city is audited by an outside accounting firm, and when an audit is done, they often will make recommendations as to how financial controls can be improved. So the auditor would be responsible for reporting on the implementation of such recommendations. F is to assist in audits conducted by the independent auditors, assure accurate and timely completion and submittal of audit reports, furnish to council, the mayor, the managing director, periodic reports of audits conducted, interpret and communicate audit policies and procedures, direct internal financial security, loss investigation activities, prepare an annual budget for her office. She has the authority to, in subsection L, to issue subpoenas in order to fulfill her duties and responsibilities. M gives her the authority to appoint assistants and employees within his or her office. So pretty broad grant of fiscal authority to the auditor.
And as you note, that was changed in November, I believe it was 2014.
Yeah.
In
when
which the
ACCA
auditor-
Requirement wasn't
Oh,
no longer needed. That was changed on there. I also have a problem with the salary, because I just looked up city auditor for Pennsylvania. The average is anywhere between 90,000 and 103,000 dollars.
Yeah, I don't think the salary is currently
Correct.
40. It's been
No.
increased.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look, there's a note there for the current salary of the city auditor, you would go to section 91-101D, which I think is the administrative code.
Administrative code.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the initial salary back in 1996. Similar to forfeiture provisions for other city positions, this office of auditor can be forfeited if at any time they lack the qualifications for the office as prescribed by the charter, they violate any express prohibition of the charter, or if they're convicted of certain crimes, misdemeanor of the second class or higher. Section 505 provides for how a vacancy in the office of auditor would be filled, which would be council appointing an interim auditor who would serve until the next municipal election. 506 is similar to other sections we've already covered. Are some prohibitions that apply to the officer, not holding any other compensated city office or employment, not serving as an elected official, not holding any compensated city office or employment until 1 year after the expiration of the term, not serve as an employee of a municipal authority. And E is the requirement to disclose a financial interest, direct or indirect, in any sale of land to the city or any contract with the city. And failure to disclose that would be considered malfeasance and, could lead to removal. Okay?
I have a question for you, Ed. Let's go back to 504 forfeiture. In that, all cases of forfeiture, the city auditor shall be entitled to notice. Who notices them? What
The
procedure?
removal would be done by action of city council.
Okay,
And what that language that you just referenced means is that council would have to provide notice to the auditor of the grounds for which forfeiture is being sought, have the opportunity, it's a due process requirement,
that's right.
have an opportunity for a hearing, and council would have to have administrative procedures established to be followed.
Thank you very much. Were there any other questions at this point? Okay. Let's move on.
Okay, so Article 6 is administration. 601 just required the establishment of an administrative manual within 6 months of the adoption of the charter back in the mid-1990s. 603, the mayor appoints and removes the head of any department, office, or agency. The appointment is not effective unless city council by resolution confirms it or fails to reject it within 60 days after the appointment. The appointee serves unless rejected by city council or is removed from office, whichever is sooner. 603B provides the mayor with the right to remove the head of any department, office, or agency. Would be those offices under the managing director's direction and supervision. The mayor would be required to notify city council in writing within 14 days of the removal and the reason for the removal.
The city council can't reject that type of removal?
No, they just are informed, but they don't get a veto over it. 604 is just sort of I think a general statement of spirit. The heads of departments are to be selected solely on the basis of education, training, experience, professional, executive, and administrative abilities, and such other qualifications. 605 are prohibitions that apply to department heads. 605A is the department head is to devote full time to the office, shall hold no elective public office, shall hold no other city office or city employment for which compensation is paid or received, and shall hold no office in any political party or organization.
So that means that when you say political party, they can't be part of the Democratic Committee?
Or Republican.
They cannot hold an office in any political party or organization. So you would have to define what an office within a political party would be. They can certainly be a registered member of a political party.
But
Correct.
they can't be.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Concur. Very interesting.
I'll hold
You sound
back.
like you have a question.
I do. I'll hold back for
Okay.
that question.
605B is very similar to other sections that we reviewed in terms of, department head is not to have any financial interest, direct or indirect, in the sale of land to the city or any contract with the city, and is required to disclose such interest to council. And if they conceal that, they are guilty of malfeasance in office. 605C is sort of an interesting provision because the department head is to refrain from participating in the debate and discussion of policy by city council unless authorized by the mayor, but is allowed to respond to inquiries in any matter under consideration. 606 establishes the Department of Public Works. 605A basically says that the city must have a Department of Public Works. It would not be discretionary to eliminate the department. Mayor appoints and fixes the compensation of the head of the department. The head of the department does the duties required through the administrative code. And the mayor also designates an individual who is a professional engineer registered in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to serve as a city engineer. B requires the department to have an environmentalist. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I wanted to double check that, registered in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead. Mhm. Go ahead, please.
606B requires the Department of Public Works to include an environmentalist, which would have the duties set forth there. In 607 establishes the Department of Finance. You'll notice there was a prior amendment to the charter separating what was then called the Department of Administrative Services into the Department of Finance. And then you'll see in, I think, the next section, the Department of Human Resources. So again, there has to be a Department of Finance. It's not discretionary. The director is appointed by the mayor with confirmation by council. And then this position does have some minimum job requirements, a degree in business administration or management, and then it provides some job duties, which I'll skip reading if it's okay. It's basically to, be responsible for, a wide variety of fiscal issues for the city.
Question. I know it's not within our scope to remove any departments, but is it within our scope to suggest the addition of a department?
Yes.
For example, Department of Health.
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean, you could recommend the removal of a department too, if you so chose. Yeah, that's an interesting issue. Okay, it's 7:27. Do you want me to stop?
Yeah, let's stop there
First, Article 7.
and we'll deal with Article 7.
Good.
Okay. Okay, so we stopped at Article 7. Okay, we had the solicitor on, we had Donna Reed on, we had, there was someone else on as well. So they're looking, I'm sorry. Yeah. Carlos Rivera. And Liz there.
Abilene.
Yeah. Okay, very good. I'm glad people are watching. Let's see.
So do we have a motion to adjourn?
No, not yet, not
Okay.
yet. Okay.
So we'll be ready to, keep it moving.
Excellent.
I don't want to take more time than we should,
Mhm.
right? Oh, I just wanted to ask everyone to read the document after I send it, the organizational document that I created, so we can have all of our notes and all of our questions ready for next week. Yes, ma'am.
When I try to open the emails, I was having a problem. I wasn't able to see.
Okay, I can send everybody a Word and a PDF version.
I'll give you a paper copy of what Tanya sent last week, and then I can print another one for myself.
You sure?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Appreciate it.
I would like to recommend that we do another 4 weeks of the weekly meetings. Because I think that we can use that. And then it also gives us a chance to invite, as we are looking for the cities, we'd like to do the council. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, and 4 districts. and about 15 minutes apiece, if that much, right? And then also 4, 5, and 6, and the,
Can I make a suggestion? So I've advertised the next 2 weeks' meetings for 5:30 on next Thursday and the following Thursday in this room. After that, it becomes a little bit iffy. This room is not available because there's some conflicts.
mhm.
And let me just finish. And it was suggested to me today that it might actually be better from a technological standpoint to move our meetings either to the Penn Room or to the third floor conference room. Yeah.
No, we're saying this, Ed. I spoke with Latchet.
Mandating. It was a suggestion that was made, and I'm just putting it out there for discussion. I mean, we're good for the next 2 weeks. I would suggest that we, in the interest of time, so that we can all go home tonight, figure out the schedule going forward and present it next week.
Okay, so. To speak on the room situation for holding the meeting, the reason the suggestion was made for the Penn Room or the third floor conference room is because then you don't have to have someone from administration necessarily. If you guys have someone that has to sit here and operate and run the Zoom, because the equipment on those floors, it's automatically fed through a big screen monitor where you would hit whoever bought a laptop could hit the Windows key and K, and it would automatically connect, and then you just open the Zoom up, and then you'd be able to broadcast it for yourself.
That sounds
That
good.
was the reason for those
Okay.
suggestions, not that no one's trying to kick you out of.
No, that's okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Now, excuse me, just a minute, Sheila. We'll do the next 2 meetings here, but we need someone that's going to be responsible for that operation. So we need to have Kent inform us or that person to be able to,
No one here has city login, so you would not be able to control the system.
not for this, I'm talking about the,
So for the third floor,
Yeah.
if you need someone to show you in advance
Correct.
how to use it,
Yes.
we could possibly arrange that.
There you
So
go.
Someone would have to be willing to be a host of the Zoom meeting, and bring your laptop or whatnot, because then you connect automatically to the city's, guest Wi-Fi.
Good,
which will
okay.
get you connected, and then
Mhm.
you just cast your screen to the monitors, and it would record you guys.
Okay,
So
that sounds
if you're gonna
good.
do that, then we have to also get with Paige, because then she would have to include whoever as a host
Okay,
to the webinar. So, well, just to the link for the web, for the webinar, and wherever you are, you'll be able to open it and be the presenter.
okay, good. So that we can work out. Right. Okay. Are you leaving, Dave? Okay. All right.
Is there a way that we can share that on Facebook? Our meetings, like city council meetings, should be on Facebook so that everybody can see.
I think you have to have a Facebook account set up for your commission, and then you go on your page and go live. Someone can just go live while you're in the actual meeting.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know how to tell you how to do that.
No, we'll have
But I
to,
think that's what you have to do. You have to create your own
Yeah.
Facebook page for Charter Review Commission. And
Okay.
then when you start your meeting, you make sure you
That'll be
want to
perfect.
set it up to go
Okay.
live.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is ask the city manager to make sure that the IT person is able to have that instruction up there. And then also to make sure that we're comfortable with that.
That you're ready, that you're moving out of here, since I think you guys rescheduled in there for 2 more weeks.
Right.
Have you sent anything to reserve the council chambers for the next 2 weeks, or do I need to go in and update the invite that I originally sent?
Probably need to update.
So I'll update it
The
and reserve
next
for
2
the
weeks,
next 2 weeks
okay.
for here in this, as long as there's no conflict, I haven't checked.
We know there's no conflict.
Checked already?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll verify that, that's just me, I'll check it, I'll update it. And then I'll just reaching up and up with the invites available.
May I also add,
No, that's good. Reserve that space here.
may I also,
Can I make a suggestion in that regard? We know we have the framework of the work for the next 2 weeks. The schedule going forward on that, it might be appropriate for you and the 2 vice chairs to consult and sort of work out a tentative proposed schedule going forward to present, because I'm afraid if we just sit here and among 11 people start talking about, we'll be here for a month. So, yeah, that might be a good place for the leadership of the,
So
Is it possible that we can, come up with the questions, for these interviews? Ahead of time, and then people can pick which question they want, but then it'd be fair, because everybody would be asked the same question.
are you talking about the questions for department heads? Are you talking about the proposed questions for department heads down the road? Down the road, okay.
City council.
City council, with the
auditor.
president, city council, and then also the
Auditor.
auditor.
I can help with that. Maybe we could do it together. I think we should try to work out among the leadership sort of like a plan. Like, because it's going to require a certain amount of coordination of schedules to get some of these people here. But let's work that out, and then we can develop a written request to them.
So I look forward to seeing you sometime.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting. I need a second.
Need a second for a motion to adjourn.